You love them. You want to be there more often, but sometimes you need rest, time with your spouse, a trip to see your grandkids, a moment to just breathe. And yet, the guilt creeps in. Am I still a good caregiver if I'm not there every day? If you've ever asked yourself that quietly, this episode is for you, because dementia caregiving doesn't always mean constant presence, but it does call for intentional love. And there is a way to do both without the guilt. Hey, Christian Care Companion. Welcome to Dementia Caregiver Support for Christians, the podcast that helps you navigate dementia care with clarity, calm, and Christ at the center. Because being made in the image of God means your value or your loved ones doesn't disappear with memory loss. And in this season of caregiving, it's not just something to survive. It is a part of your calling and a part of your sanctification. We're not here to follow a medical model. We're here for a relationship-centered, faithful way of caregiving, one that brings peace even when things feel uncertain. So, if you're a Christian wife, husband, daughter, or family member trying to figure this out, I want you to know you are in the right place and you're not alone. And if you're listening to this thinking, this is the kind of perspective I've been craving, I'd love to invite you to join us live for Ask the Dementia Coach, our free monthly question and answer session. It is happening on Saturday, June the 28th at 3 p.m. Eastern. You'll get direct answers to your questions, support from fellow Christian caregivers, and practical strategies that actually work. You can register at thinkdifferentdementia.com/ask, and I'd truly love to see you there. Now, let's step into a heartfelt conversation I had with Linda, a daughter caring for her parents while wrestling with guilt, distance, and what it means to be a good caregiver when you cannot always be present. Let's listen in as I coach her about her parents and her marriage. Hello, Miss Linda. How are you?
I'm fine. I wish I could figure out my camera, but my husband and I tried, and I'm like, oh, well, it's probably better anyway.
It's okay. I am so grateful you're here, Linda. I am so excited. This is the biggest group I've ever had. So I take everybody through the same process because it helps make it consistent for everyone, and then I can go off on tangents all day, every day. Let's say it is 6 months from today and your caregiving journey is easier. What does that look like for you?
Okay, so I know you ask people this because I've listened to most of your podcasts, but I always wonder, like, how would I answer that? I don't even know. I guess, and maybe I'm answering this in the wrong way, so correct me if I'm saying this wrong, is letting go of guilt of help take care of my parents in their home, and my mom is the one who has dementia. Um, so I think it's the letting go of the guilt of being there all the time. I don't know. I guess just not feeling guilty because I'm not there all the time. They don't need me to be there all the time, but I have this tremendous pressure on myself they rely on me a lot, and I don't need to be there all the time. And I think sometimes I feel this guilt. Like, our kids live in Michigan. We live in Kansas, and our kids live in Michigan. And the only way I really feel that I can just relax and not think of my parents is when I leave to go see my grandkids and my kids.
Okay.
So,
I understand that.
okay.
So what would it take to achieve that goal?
I don't know. You tell me, please.
Well, so I'll give you a couple of ideas.
Okay.
Um, do you think it's not knowing or anticipating what's coming next with them? Is it because we're struggling to handle our own stress or overwhelm? Is it knowledge? What do you think you might be?
Yeah, I think it's the overwhelming part, and I think I th I think, I still have in my mind. So mom fell 2 years ago, and I got that call, and it's crazy. I mean, I'm going to a Christian therapist to talk things through because I think that's still in my mind. Like, when I get up in the night, I check my phone because 'cause I'm like, "Okay, what if I missed a call from them or a text from them or something?" And I think, like, still in my mind when mom fell 2 years ago that I don't know, I feel that pull, like, and that I need to just always be there for them. I don't know. I
Mhm.
and my sister lives in the same town. We live in a small town. My sister lives here, but her kids all live 30 minutes away, and she helps with them and grandkids, and she has health issues. So there's a lot of pieces. She wants to help, but she just can't always. And,
Okay.
so
So can I ask a couple more contextual
Sure.
questions?
Sure.
How old is your mom?
89, and my
Okay.
dad is 91.
Okay. How long has she been living with dementia?
Well, that's an interesting question because really bad stroke 2 years ago, and that's when she fell. But looking back, you kinda see those signs. I think it really happened probably started happening 5 years ago.
Okay.
And she really is, I mean, when I hear other people's stories,
Mhm.
I mom is not that bad. Like, she knows people, but she gets kind of in that zone of she just asking questions all the time, and then she's very much like she just kinda hones in on things all the time, and I don't know, gets kind of obsessed with things, like,
Sure.
so I think the guilt for me, but I also have a question about how do you handle she's not snippy with me ever, but she is with my dad sometimes, not always. But
Okay.
how do you I don't know how to respond when she's makes kind of snarky remarks to him. And I will say he pokes the bear sometimes.
Okay.
Like, he'll say things in front of her that's I know it's embarrassing to her. So anyway, I
Sure.
talk too much. So here, I'll
No,
let you talk.
this was wonderful. Thank you for the context. I really, really appreciate it. So what I'd like to do is give you a few things that came up for me as you were talking. Is that okay?
Yes, please.
All right. So the first thing was where you said you feel guilty for not being there,
Mhm.
right?
Yes.
I want you to consider, what does guilt actually mean? What does the word guilt actually mean? Where does it come from?
Mm.
It is a legal determination. We are guilty in front of God for sinning, right?
Mhm.
And therefore we deserve his judgment. That's why
Mhm.
we be in the mess that we be in, right?
Mhm.
For
Yeah.
sin. So you have nothing to feel guilty about
Mhm.
related to this particular situation. It,
Okay.
it's not guilt. You're not doing anything wrong. It is not
Mhm.
a sin in this particular situation. Could it be sinful in another situation? Yes, but
Mhm.
in this particular situation, you have nothing to feel guilty about,
Okay.
right?
Okay. Okay.
We need to consider and always keep in the front of our mind, things happen. People have strokes, people fall, people
Yes.
walk out, have a heart. My mom had a cardiac
Mm.
arrest in the middle of an EGD, right?
Yeah. Yes.
These are things that happen to us in life. And
Mhm.
these things that happen to us in life, if you are a Christian, if you are a believer,
Yes.
every single one of these things is part of your sanctification process
Mhm.
as well as theirs. It's not just yours, it's
Yes.
also their sanctification process,
Mhm.
particularly if they are believers as well.
Yes. Yes,
So
they
the
are.
Lord uses these situations, the Lord uses these things, His providence, which feels sometimes hard and
Mhm.
difficult and struggling. He
Mhm.
uses these providential situations for our sanctification to make us more like Him
Yes.
and for His glory. Because
Mhm.
guess what? There are people in the world watching you and I navigate this journey in a different way than the world, and it
Mm.
becomes a witness. So things are going to happen.
Yes, I
Your
know.
mom is going to fall.
Yes. Yes. Yep.
Your dad is going to die.
Yes.
Mom is going to die. All of these
Right.
things are going to happen. It's
Yeah.
how we respond to them
Mhm.
that makes the difference.
Yes, and that's so good. I just wanted to share too what you were talking about earlier. I can't remember. I think it was with Paulette. My sister and I just sat down last week, and I'm so thankful that we're on the same page, like in the care with my parents. And we just went through all the scenarios, like what happens if dad goes first? What happens if mom, so
Mhm.
we've kind of got something in place, but which is so important. But yeah, I know those things are gonna happen, and I wish I didn't feel this way. I just feel like
But you can work on it.
yes,
May I make a suggestion?
yes, please.
Our actions
Mhm.
follow our thoughts.
Mm.
Our actions always follow our thoughts.
Okay.
Think about your day-to-day things. All of us, every single one of us here in the Zoom room, right, have
Mhm.
woken up on the wrong side of bed.
Mhm. Yes.
I certainly have.
Yes.
I'm going to use a quick little story of an actual situation with me. I had a student that was driving me nuts. We
Mm.
worked in home health, which meant we got in the car at 8 o'clock in the morning and we spent the entire day until 4 o'clock in the morning sitting in a car, seeing patients, driving back and forth.
Mhm.
And she was an emotional suck
Mm.
on me. And one day I got in the car and I had an attitude,
Mm.
like the world's worst attitude, right? I didn't want to be there. I didn't want to deal with her. I didn't want any of it. And my first patient, because my background is an OT, we went, it was awful.
Oh.
It was awful. It was a horrible session, what I call finger paint, not a masterpiece, but finger paint,
Mm.
right? And we got in the car and we left there. And I said to myself, you have got to change. Fake it till
Mhm.
you feel it.
Mhm.
Because I recognized that as long as I was in that headspace, as long as I was in that attitude,
Yes.
I was going to have a bad day.
Yes.
And so what I ended up doing is I literally faked it. I faked it. I got out of the car and I faked it, walked in all enthusiastic and everything. And the next session was a masterpiece, right?
Mm.
And we got into the car and I sat there and I said to my student, I said, did you notice the difference between the two sessions and what had happened? And she said to me, yes. I said, what was the difference? And she came up with all the techniques and strategies and, the stuff. And I looked at her and I shook my head. I said, nope, I was different. I
Mm.
showed up different.
Mhm.
There isn't a particular verse in the Bible that says this, but the concept is there. We are supposed to think God's thoughts after him. We
Mhm.
are supposed to take every thought, this one is, every thought captive to Christ.
Yeah.
As
Yes.
long as we come into this from I use the word mindset, but not in the way that the world does. As long as we come into this thinking those things,
Mhm.
we will get that result.
Yes. Yes.
So, an opportunity for you, you mentioned your Christian therapist,
Mhm.
right? And that you're still struggling with the emotions after your mom had that happen, right?
Right.
I would love for you to consider that what happened to your mom was part of her journey and that it was for her good and for her sanctification as well as yours. And take that whole experience and transform it from the negative thing that you remember into the positive thing that God wants it to be for you.
I like that. Yeah. Yes, definitely. Okay.
Because our thoughts will circle,
Yes.
but
Right.
it's like a spring, think it can
Mhm.
go up or it can go down.
Mhm.
Guess what?
Yeah.
We control our thoughts,
Yes.
no
Yes.
one else.
That's right.
So we
Yeah.
have power over this,
Yes.
right?
No, I totally agree with you. And first of all, I can't imagine you ever in a bad mood. I
Oh,
can't.
no, girl. I got yeah, no.
You're wonderful.
Well, thank you.
Um,
That is very kind. Every single one of us struggle in thought, word, and deed.
yes. Yes.
I'm not perfect. I make a lot of
Yes.
mistakes. I was telling somebody earlier today, my besetting sin is I have a light switch anger up and down. Like I
Mhm.
can get angry at like I'm human. I'm
Mhm.
human. I make
We
mistakes.
all are.
We
Yeah.
all are, right?
Yes.
And I learn every single day from people like you coming into my
Mhm.
world, talking to me, trying things. I'm in the process. Like I have truly over the last little bit recognized how vastly different the thing is that I'm doing
Mm.
because it is countercultural. And when I
Mhm.
started down this journey, I did not want to do it.
Hmm.
I fought and fought. I'm like, "No, Lord, I do not want to do this. I do not want to do this."
Oh,
He did not let me go, and I
no.
love it
Thank
because
goodness you listened.
it
Thank you.
has so vastly changed my life and my faith,
Yes.
and just I'm so grateful
Mhm.
because there is that nobody's talking about dementia caregiving from
Mhm.
a Christian worldview.
Mhm.
So I'm very, very grateful for that. So, what's one thing that you can take away from today that will move you closer to it being easier, Miss Linda?
Oh, boy. Well, I love what you were saying about the actions following our thoughts, and I've always did it my husband and I have always felt we are positive people, and we always try to look on the bright side of everything, and so and I truly feel like I do for the most part. It's just this, one little, feeling that I have felt, but in looking at pictures with my mom, we've been going through things in their house and we're learning stories about their past and about items that she's kind of given things to grandkids now and they're trying to clean out a little bit in their house. But just realizing that, like, when she said to me one time, "I'm sorry you have to drive me everywhere." And I just looked at her and I said, "Mom, if you weren't in this situation, you'd be driving yourself and I wouldn't get all this time with you." So I truly try to look at, from the best way possible, but I think I really need to remove that heaviness from my heart and my shoulders. And I think I really need to just say, I'm doing the best that I can and what I can, and I just need to we just continue to pray and,
Yep.
thank
And
goodness.
create those moments of joy
Yeah. Yes,
because,
definitely.
and the time will come and it will come quickly
Yes.
when they do pass. They
Mm,
are 89 and 91. You are
yeah.
extremely blessed.
Yes, really are. Yeah.
But also, the biggest comfort I had after my mom passed away so suddenly
So
was
sorry
that
to hear.
I did everything that I could to
Yes.
make her last time on earth as easy and as fun and as loving
Mhm.
for her as I could, and that
Yes.
she did not feel like a burden. That
I'm
to
so
me
glad
was
that you
the most
felt that way.
yeah.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
you're doing a great job, Linda.
Thank
Keep
you.
keep doing it. You
Thanks
got
for being here, and thanks for doing this.
Oh, you're
So
very
appreciate
welcome.
you.
people who are really benefiting from the community are the people who joined earlier on before
Yeah.
they need it, and
Yeah.
and that have been active and are participating in the community, because then they already know what questions to ask and they have a place to come, and they're not constantly wondering, what do I need to do? How do I need to do it? So people listening are interested in tapping into or learning about the community. I'd invite you to just go to the website, thinkdifferentdementia.com. There's a link for you to schedule a 20-minute call. There's no pressure. I'll serve you regardless of whether you join the community or not. But it is a way for you to take this relationship a little deeper, a little bit more hands-on support, because really the research also shows it's longitudinal support over time.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
For sure. I would highly recommend Lizette. She's awesome.
Tracy, I appreciate that endorsement.